and welcome to a special edition of the Panther-Lair show. We're here for another conversation with incoming Pitt transfer forward wing Blake Hinson. Blake, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Living a fine life.
I like it. How now we're chatting here on Friday at the end of the week, whatever it is, July 8th, I guess it is. How long have you been in Pittsburgh?
I've been here for about three months or so.
Oh, okay.
I think just approximately. I don't know. I mean, all these workouts and stuff got my mind probably fogged up, but
okay.
I've been here for quite 2 months, maybe coming to 3.
Okay, it's not like you just got here on Monday or something like that.
No, not new. I even got a shirt now.
I assume when you guys get to campus, they just load you up with like backpacks and shirts.
That's what you assume.
Tracksuits and.
That's what you assume.
Nice. So I mean, what's your experience been just in Pittsburgh? I mean, we'll talk about basketball in a second, but I mean, just living in this city for the past couple months, what's the experience been like?
Awesome place. I mean, I haven't got out much, but looks awesome. Never been in a city like this before. I'm a small town guy, you know what I mean? So being around big buildings and stuff is different for me. Cool though.
Right. Did you visit at all before you committed?
Mm-hmm. I committed on my visit. So obviously I've been like in the city for quite some time now.
Okay. Now, in the last couple of months that you've been around, what have you found? Like, what's the best thing you found to eat? Like, what's been the best restaurant you've gone to?
There's one restaurant I've been going to called Roots. Shout out to Roots. You know what I mean? They've been treating me nice. They got some pretty good food in there.
Yeah. What is that in Oakland? I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's in Oakland. It's a low key spot. They give us this credit on our phones or whatever. We can go in there and get $15 worth of credit. So I go in there sometimes. It's good, really good. Right. Oh, Fuel and Photo. Shout out to y'all too. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Y'all wings are crazy.
You're speaking my language now. That was one of my places when I was in school at Pitt. So I'm a big Fuel and Fuddle fan myself. Who's been like showing you around? Guys on the team? Who's been do you have a roommate or who's been kind of like helping?
John Hughley has been my tour guide since my visit, and he's such a good dude. Super humble, super cool. Makes you feel, you know what I mean, part of the family from day one.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. He like when we interview recruits, we interview transfers, guys, like John's name gets brought up a lot, that he's really involved with trying to recruit guys and that kind of thing. I mean, you've been around a couple of different programs. You've seen a lot of college basketball players. How unique is John and his approach, not just with what he can do on the court, but with his approach kind of off the court with that stuff?
Yeah, that's very rare. You know what I mean? Because he's John. You know what I mean? So like he doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? And honestly, it gets to the point where you don't really expect it. But more than anybody, he's talking to recruits, he's texting, he's doing all that. And I think that really is a testament to his character. He's like really that type of guy. He's a good guy and a good basketball player. You know, those people exist.
Mm-hmm. Now I was curious. I heard about this pickup game that happened the other day, and it was like you and John and Nellie Cummings and Greg Elliott and Nate Santos against some guys that I think Pitt fans would be pretty interested to hear you played against. DeAndre Kane and DJ Kennedy, some guy named Cam Johnson, some guy named Ryan Luther, Mike Young. Tell me about this game. How did this go down? And how was that game?
Man, I'm sure y'all love to know, but I think I'm gonna save it for my book one day. You know, I'm gonna keep that on the low, what happened. But we competed, that's for sure.
Okay. Now, tell me this. Who were you matched up against?
I was matched up against, I got a little piece of Cam Johnson for a little bit. I mean, for the most part, I'll probably guard him.
Okay. Now, you give up a little bit of size to him, right? He's a little bit bigger than you?
He's a little bit bigger than me.
Okay. What's and he's a guy you got to defend out to the perimeter too, right?
Oh, you got to guard him everywhere. You got to guard him everywhere.
Well, how did that go? Just you and him. I'm asking about the whole game. Just I'm curious, how did that go with you guarding him and him guarding you?
I gotta save it for the book.
All right, I guess we'll have to look forward to that. We'll have to look forward to it for sure. Well, I kind of wanted to. That sort of leads into what I was going to ask you about next, as far as your role with this team, because it seems like the sense is you're probably going to be playing on the wing, playing, I guess, a 4 or whatever passes for a 4 in basketball these days. With, you know, what you think you're going to be doing this year, have you done things like that before? Have you played that kind of role? Have you been more of a 3? Is this going to be a transition for you?
Honestly, to be totally honest, because we haven't started practice officially, I couldn't tell you what exactly is going to be my main role. I think it's clear that I will play some wing, I will play some forward, just like you said, whatever that entitles. Basketball nowadays, forward does pretty much anything you ask them to do. But really what I want to do is just use my experience and help the guys around me on and off the court, whatever that entitles. If that brings me 40 minutes, fine. If that brings me 5 minutes, cool. Brings me no minutes, whatever. I just want to, you know what I mean? I just want to be an experienced person and show the experience and apply it to this team. That's all.
It's a pretty unique team in terms of experience, isn't it? I mean, like, we talk about the backcourt a lot. There's a bunch of 5th-year seniors and 6th-year seniors. You've been around for a long time. I mean, John is a junior now, but he's played a ton of basketball. I mean, is this one of the more experienced teams you've been on? And how have you kind of seen that through some of the workouts and things you've done with the guys?
Yes, it's one of the most experienced teams I've been on, and it makes me feel really comfortable. And that's all I can really say about it. Just like I said, we haven't really done enough together to really tell you exactly what that's going to mean. But it makes me feel very comfortable that the people I'm around has been through a lot of fights before. It's been through a lot of practices before, and it just makes things run smoother in my head.
Sure. You know, once you kind of came on the radar as a transfer target for Pitt, you know, we all go and Google Blake Hinson, you know what I mean? We're trying to see what we can find out. And, you know, we read, you know, played 2 years at Ole Miss, you know, sat out a year, or, you know, after you transferred because of, you know, health condition. Then, you know, last year ended up deciding to go into the transfer portal, kind of left some blank spots in there. Can you kind of, you know, what's been your experience and your journey through college, you know, so far? Like, take us back to, you know, starting off at Ole Miss, what it was like playing there, and kind of how you got from that point to where you are right now.
Just playing ball and just, you know, doing what I feel is right. You know what I mean? What I feel is best. All my past experiences have been good experiences, in my opinion, that make me a better player to this day. And that's all I can pretty much say about it. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I have had, you know, the experience I've had. It makes me feel confident coming into this season.
I mean, it's been a little while since you played, right? You know,
officially, it's been 2 years.
Right. Is there, I mean, I'm sure you haven't just been sitting on the couch that whole time, but I mean, you know, is there a process of getting back into the flow of things, of getting back into playing, you know, organized basketball?
I really can't answer that because I haven't been in an organized basketball game in quite a long time. But definitely been still playing, and I've been, you know, playing pretty well in my opinion. So we'll see. You know what I mean? I can't really tell you what the answer to that is. I can't.
Sure. What, you know, when you decided to leave Iowa State, did you go into the portal like last fall? When did you actually go into the transfer portal?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I'm being totally honest with you. I'm sure you want honesty. I don't know.
Hey, that works. Hey, honesty works. Do you remember when you first heard from Pitt? Like when they first reached out?
Oh yeah. The first time I heard from Pitt, they reached out, and I mean, they was probably my once they called, I had some interest from other schools, but once Pitt called, you know, it raised my eyebrow. Went on a visit. The visit was terrific. Coaches were terrific. Just terrific as in the experience. Like, you know, you got ex-NBA players on staff. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge to me. You know what I mean? So after that, it was just, you know what I mean? I think this is it.
When you decided to leave Iowa State, were you thinking that you'd have more high major opportunities? Were you thinking, well, maybe I might have to go to a mid major or something like that? I mean, what was sort of your expectation going into the transfer portal again?
I mean, there was no real expectation. I wasn't expecting anything. I just wanted to take my role and take who I am somewhere else, wherever that was. You know what I mean? And I love basketball, so it could have been anywhere. But luckily, I got a great place like this to come to, and I took the opportunity.
Nice. Now, you know, obviously Pitt probably didn't have the season they would like to have last year, but the coaches seem to be really selling optimism for the future and potential for the future. How did they sell that to you that, this coming season they're positioned for maybe more success than they had in the past?
They don't need to sell it to me. I mean, it's kind of in my hands, in my player, in my teammates' hands. So there's no selling better luck for me. Like, at the end of the day, the players go out there and we play. So we're going to work hard and we're going to try to determine the future ourselves. It's really no optimism. It's either we go do it or we don't.
I got you. So we talked about John a little bit earlier off the court. What about on the court? I know you've only seen a little bit. You haven't done a ton of workouts. You did have the pickup game, but I won't ask you specifically about that one. We'll read the book for your reviews of John's performance in the pickup game. But, how do you see yourself kind of working with him on the court and you guys kind of, gelling and sort of meshing out there?
In my opinion, it should work. Definitely going to come with lots of hard work that we need to do and put ourselves through the hardest work we can possible. But I mean, when me and John are playing at our best, I think it should work at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the last thing, and we kind of talked a little bit about, you haven't really played in games in 2 years. I mean, are you anxious? Like, how anxious are you just to get to that point where the season starts and you're out there competing and playing in games again?
If I'm being honest with you, it's funny because I felt like the more I waited, the more time I've had off, I'll be more anxious. It's like being you turn into like a casual fan when you're sitting out, you're just watching basketball and you realize it's just a game. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's a bunch of people there. Yeah, there's, the court's nice. There's a lot of media attention, but when you're just at home, you realize it's not as big of a deal as you think. It's just basketball. So it's actually made me calm down more.
All right. Well, that sounds good. All right, Blake. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad we could take a few minutes and catch up. And like I say, we'll look forward to reading the book when it comes out in a few years, and you can dish all the details about 4 years of college and the pickup game and all those things. And,
please buy it.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for your time, man. Have a great summer, and we will catch up with you in the fall.
All right, then. Thank you.
All right.